into BSS.
This is W2FJH. We'll be starting the STNY Digital Voice Net on at 7 o'clock here. And we do have NetLogger up and running for those folks who wish to check it out through NetLogger. NetLogger can be found at netlogger.org. We also do have Google Meet up and running. And if you wish to join us on Google Meet, if you're having some technical difficulties or whatever, you can find the link at stnydmr.net. So we'll see you folks in just about 5 minutes here. This is W2FJH. W2FJH, bringing up the STNY Digital Voice Net on Brandmeister Talk Group 31367, Wires X Room 83721, and live stream to Google Meet and YouTube. The primary purpose of the STNY Digital Voice Net is to foster an active digital voice community in the southern tier of New York and to provide a forum for those that are interested or have questions regarding various digital voice topics. While this net is primarily for the southern tier, all stations are more than welcome to check in. This net meets weekly on Sundays at 7 p.m. For more information about this net, please visit stnydmr.net. This net will prioritize short-time, mobile, in and out, or emergency power stations. We currently do have 6 stations checked in through NetLogger, so the net would like to recognize W2KDC Dennis, N2RWH Ed, N2QFD Mel, K3BYC Carlton, N2VSS Jeff, and N2NRA Cliff. All right, when checking in, please give your call sign, your name, and your location. So let's first take a standby for any stations that are short time, mobile, in and out, or emergency power. Please call now. All right, nothing heard there, so let's open it up for any station that would like to check into the STNY Digital Voice Net this evening. Please call now.
W2FJH, N30JP, Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania.
W2FJH, here's November 3 Delta, Quebec Delta Ray, Beaver, Pennsylvania.
All right, and I got N3OJP Mick, NE2W Ed, he checked into NetLogger, and N3DQD Ray. Were there any other stations that joined this evening? Please call now. Right, another nerd there, but we got a good group of folks here already. All right, let's kick things off. If there's any announcements for the net this evening, please call now. All right, no announcements, so let's move in for questions. If there's any questions for the net this evening, please call now. All right, no questions either, so we will move in comments. The net topic this evening, thanks credit to N3OJP Mick for this net topic. We are talking about rapid radios. Have you looked into these radios, or have you tried these radios firsthand, and any feedback or thoughts on them? So, top of my list is W2KDC Dennis. How was your week there?
Hi, Frank, and everyone on the net. My week was good. I done with the surgery, using a pair of drugstore readers for things out to 24 inches. Then I can see pretty much perfectly beyond that right now. So, good week, and looking forward to some warmer weather this coming week. Um, as far as the rapid radios, I'd heard of them, but never really looked into them. I took a couple minutes after you posted the topic and went out to the website. Sounds like an interesting concept. Not sure I would have a use for it. Uh, you know, it seems to be a push-to-talk cell phone, other than it works on all three networks. So I'm not sure why I would want to buy one, but maybe somebody else can convince me. That's my story for tonight. W2KDC, back to you, Frank.
Hey, very good there, Dennis. And yeah, glad things are going fine with the cataract surgery and everything. Actually, before I get to my next station, let me jump ahead really quick for the net topic. Let me talk to Mick here, and maybe he can give some more thoughts or feedbacks on what he was thinking just before everybody else gives their net topic suggestions as well. So let me see if Mick is out there. N30JP, W2FJH.
Oh, good evening, Frank. Everybody on the net. Oh, you're welcome, Frank, for last week. Yeah, you're not allowed to get sick. So glad you're feeling better. Anyway, on Rapid Radio, a friend of mine called me about it. He said he heard about this radio that you can talk all over the country, thousands of miles, and don't need a license, and it's free. So I started to look at it, and yeah, there is no monthly fee. I think I've seen it somewhere else too, maybe on some websites. But I dug a little deeper, and there's like a $50 annual fee, even though there's no monthly. They hit you with an annual, but I guess that's in the fine print. And the radios are a couple $100. You go through the cell towers. That's how the connection is made. So as long as you have cell tower access, these radios can be used. And I'm not sure if there's group or not, or of course you can have one-to-one, of course. Trying to think if there was anything else, but it's not amateur radio, that's for sure. I think, like Dennis said, it's like cell phones, but I think the frequency is down 120 megahertz or something like that. Anyway, just curious if anybody had any experience. I don't seem too interested. Again, they talk about it. It's free. There's no monthly fee, but the radios are a couple $100. They're not cheap. So then when you tag a $50 fee onto it, if you got a family, and all of a sudden it's not free. Okay, Frank, I'll turn it back to you. W2FJH and 30JP.
All right, thanks, there, Mick, for giving some more details here on the topic. So, all right, next on my list is N2RWH. Ed, how was your week?
N2RWH here. Oh, not too bad. Busy week at work. Been missing a few nets. I've been kind of busy or watching TV and distracted with other things. So, other than that, not too much. Here, I heard about the rapid radios, but didn't do very much research on them. So I don't have too much input on that one. So I'll turn it back to net and to RWH.
Hey, very good there, Ed. And yeah, I hear you on the busy work week there. And yeah, I was also, as Mick did mention, I was sick over the weekend and everything too, so didn't help. And thanks again, Mick, for covering last weekend for me. So, all right. Next on the list is N2QFD Mail. How was your week?
Hey, Frank. Good evening. Good evening to the net. Before I get too far, could you give me a quick check? I'm playing with a earbud microphone thing here.
Yeah, you sound loud and clear to me. Perfect. No problems.
Thanks for that. Yeah, it's the earbud microphone that comes with a valve fan. Uh, so I guess we had a pretty radioactive week. Mick did a great job last week, and again, super to hear you back on the air, and glad you're feeling better. Rapid radio kind of reminds me of Nextel, if you remember that thing, where they had a built-in push to talk, but that was kind of network linked. I did notice the radios were sold in pairs, which makes me wonder if they're indexed to each other, and how easy is it to reprogram stuff if you get more than one of them. It does seem to kind of fit into somewhat of a growing interest in radio in the non-licensed area. I was reminded of Meshtastic and running into some people playing with digital radio over CB. Some of the FT8 and JS8 call has been used by CB radio to really extend the range of those. So I guess if we get a little more interest in radio, it's not too bad. But as was said, it's kind of a push-to-talk cell phone. So I could see an application, but for me, it's I got enough. I got enough other toys right now. So we'll turn it back over to you. Here's N2QSD.
Hey, thanks there, Melon. Yeah, that's a flashback from the Nextel days where I always hear that little bloop, noise that they'd always have on their commercials. That was a ways back. But yeah, good point on Meshtastic. That Meshtastic 2 is I mean there's a range that's not going off of cell towers. But Meshtastic is also for unlicensed use as well. And I was also going to mention oh, I think I missed my my third point there. Um, but yeah, I'm sure I'll think of it in the next go around. So, all right, next on my list is K3 BYC Carlton. How was your week?
This is K3BYC, Carlton in Darlington, Maryland. Thank you, Frank, for taking the net. And good evening to everyone who's checked in. Good week. We're finally into warm weather. It looks like it's going to stay that way down here, getting into the 50s. We managed to avoid the snow last week. In regards to rapid radios, I never heard of them prior to this net tonight. And what little bit I've looked at on the internet for the past few minutes, more questions come to mind. Yeah, they're using cell towers, frequencies of 700 megahertz to 2.6 gigs. Is how do you differentiate channels, and what's to prevent overcrowding of the channels? And what do you do when the whole cell towers are out of service, which is kind of what that's the business we're in, to try to bypass those problems. Very interesting. I don't buy into it yet. I don't think it'll work on a large basis, in my opinion. But thanks for putting that out there. I'll continue to research it there. That's all I have for now. Everybody have a great week. And this is K3BYC. Back to net control.
Hey, thanks there, Carlton. And yeah, I kind of see like a lot of it might be just like a private like party line almost. Back in those days, or like a party line. Hey, you could have a group of you have 2 or I guess in like 6 or so. I don't know I don't know if you have to contact them to reprogram it or if you could basically have like a sync button type thing that kind of how you like do Bluetooth pairing or something. How you can press a button and it will sync up and they all have a private key and they all are on the same network then and but yeah and yeah to Mel's point too there I was going to mention the third part was the you mentioned the PTT app and I might be getting the name wrong but I think it's called like Trello or I can't think of the name. I think I have it on my phone. But I think there actually is a PTT app for your phone that is a free app, and you can invite people to a certain group. And when you push, and you send out your thing, it will let them know. And then also, it's also they can play back the recordings too. So you can actually replay if you happen to miss it there. I'll have to find it maybe along the way here, but you might already know what I'm talking about. So. All right, next one, Liz, is N2BSS. Jeff, how was your week?
W2FJH and the net and to BSS. Oh, we'll go at it in reverse order. I'll say Rapid Radios, never heard of them until tonight, like Carlton. And I will say I will probably research it, but from the sounds of it, I don't think I'd have much interest in it at this point. But I do remember when I got my first PC sound card, it came with an app for Windows where it was actually a paid service where you can hook up a headset and talk to other people on their sound cards on their PCs over the fledgling internet at the time, which was probably dial-up. Anyway, I just thought it was kind of interesting. You can get like a 30-second free trial. You can say a quick hello to all the people who are connected to those channels. Using your PC, and I said, just like CB radio, I guess. I don't know. It was kind of interesting. Anyway, we were spent the weekend in Pittsburgh. Got back a couple hours ago, and did the shopping for the week and all that other stuff. Glad it's warming up. Looks like it's supposed to rain here on Tuesday. And after all that running around and whatnot, I'm tired. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to stay awake for all the rest of my other naps tonight. Oh well. Back to you, Frank. WTFJH and WSS.
Hey, so much radio, not enough time, right there, Jeff? So, all right, very good there. And yes, to correct my previous statement, I was thinking of Zello, Zello, Zulu Echo Lima Lima Oscar. It's a push-to-talk app. I've tested out before, but really didn't get into it. But, all right, next on my list is N2NRA. Cliff, how was your week?
Good evening to the net, to everybody. I hope everybody's staying healthy. So this week, shoveling snow and chipping ice away. Nice to see the warming weather trend coming. Here down towards Carlton's way, bulbs are coming up in Maryland. Did some radioactivity this week as well, but as far as Rapid Radio, it's new to me as well as everyone else on the net mostly. But I got it, like Mel says, got enough toys to play with. This is N2NRA back to net control, W2FJH.
Hey, very good there, Cliff. All right, this is W2FJH with the STNY Digital Voice Net. Let me take a quick standby here to see if there's any additional stations that would like to check in this evening. Please call now.
KD3AJN, Kilo Delta 3, Alpha Juliet, November, Piano, Beaver County. Just want to say good evening to everybody.
All right, and we have KD3AJ and Anna. All right, next on the list is N30JP. Mick, how was your week there?
Oh, thanks again, Frank. I wasn't too bad. And finally warmed up a little bit. It got up to 40, I think, the last couple of days. Felt so nice. I was going to go to a ham fest today, but my wife wasn't feeling good, so I stayed back and make sure she was okay. So she's fine. She's all right. Just always err on the side of caution in case she needs me around. But yeah, Mal jogged my memory with Nextel. Remember when I was working? This was years ago, and we used Nextel, which was really nice, beautiful audio, and really liked it. About the rapid radio, pretty much the consensus is what I thought. No one's really excited about it. I think it's more of an advertising scheme because they keep advertising there's no monthly cost. Well, once you get the radios, of course you got to have somebody to talk to. It's not duplex like a telephone. It's simplex. So if you're not used to that type of communication, you won't like it. With the general public, it's walkie-talkie. But yeah, I'm thinking about still heading up north tomorrow, maybe to do some fishing with this weather here. But I'll have to see how my wife is doing. Other than that, we've been fooling around with WinLink on Friday nights here. A group of us get together, and I just seen where you can use WinLink to spot yourself in POTA. So one nice thing about it, plus you can see who else is on POTA. So if you're out in some of the parks around here where there's no cell service, well, WinLink HF, you can still make yourself known and also see who else is out there. So yeah, we've been messing around with WinLink here. Frank, I'll turn it back to you. W2FJH and 30JP. Good evening.
Hey, very good there, Mick. And yeah, just a side note too. I was thinking as we were discussing during this net here. I'm not sure if the rapid radios, if they can communicate basically peer to peer, if they can communicate even without a cellular service. Basically, kind of like GMRS, but if you're out of range of GMRS, then it will use cellular service to actually keep the conversation going. I can see that being an interesting piece of it there. If it was basically like GMRS plus type thing. But yeah, if they're completely reliant on a cellular service, then I know myself up in the just south of Owego here, you get up into the hills and your cell phone data goes on and off all the time, and then it's out for a whole stretch of land there. And me and the wife also traveled down to the Poconos once, and we decided instead of taking the highway, we literally went into Google Maps and said avoid all highways. We took all the country roads, and I learned pretty quickly. I got down into PA, and we made a quick stop at this gas station along the way, and I went to go back to my cell phone and to try to resume our trip, and it said there's no data. And I learned pretty quickly that I have to download offline maps before I start making the trip while I have Wi-Fi and everything, because down in those country roads there's no cellular service for long stretches of road there. So, all right, next on my list is NE2W. Ed, how was your week?
Okay, very good, Frank. It was a cold week. Not really happy with the way the weather's been. Just the way it rained and snowed and everything. The north side of the city here, we're covered in ice that has snow on top of it. And the past 2 days warmed up a little bit, but I went to clean the sidewalk and I stopped because taking the snow off the top left about a 1-inch thick sheet of ice. So hopefully for warmer weather next week. Yeah, this is interesting that I was often annoyed when I'd go into a cell phone store. They have tables with, dozens of different phones, and to me they're all basically the same thing, except for being Android or Apple. No, no variation in usefulness. My son's a big gamer. He bought a OnePlus phone to do that, and we couldn't just connect it. We had to take it to the Verizon store and get a special SIM card. They allowed it on their network, but it was a hassle. And then on the other end, an elderly relative of mine, I let him borrow my iPhone, hoping they could use it, and they just couldn't get the hang of touching the screen, selecting more than one thing at a time. They really needed just a basic flip phone. So I was able to find one of those at the Spectrum store. But why doesn't one store have all of these? And the rugged phones they put out for construction workers, not to be found. So I'm intrigued by this. Let me catch a break. It's sort of like the Nextel, the rapid radio. It's kind of neat. They're advertising it for friends and family, and I could really see it for a company providing it to their workers. The guys are out, and they could be anywhere in town, and instead of fumbling around making a phone call, they got a walkie-talkie they can call in and out like the police and fire do, but they don't seem to be advertising to that. And the way it works, it uses the network of the cell phone, omnibus level. And what it is, it's a lot like this DMR. They have talk groups, and they're all private, and you can have as many talk groups as you want, and you can allocate what people are in what talk group and make it all private. So it is good that way. And yeah, the price, they really hide that. Every ad I've seen on TV talks about no monthly payment, and they don't talk about their annual payment. They make it sound like you paid us these hundreds of dollars and it's good forever. That was under the impression I was until I read a little bit more about it. So $50 a year, I guess that's okay. But like I said, it has its purpose. It's too bad it's not. It'd be easier than using a cell phone everywhere, but it doesn't take advantage of what Starlink just enabled for Sprint and for other networks. If you have an up-to-date phone and you're out in the middle of the ocean or somewhere without service, you have a phone made in the last year or so, you'll be able to still do texting through the Starlink satellites. They've just started that. So that's about it from here. Back to you, Frank. This is NE2W.
Hey, very good there, Ed. And yeah, I'm actually surprised. You mentioned the flip phones. I'm actually surprised you were able to find one of them. The wife a long time ago, she was upset because her cell phone didn't have the physical keypad on it anymore, and she liked the physical button. She didn't like touching the screen. She's gotten used to it now and everything, but yeah, it's. I'm surprised you actually found a flip phone, and I'll have to look into that about Starlink, because yeah, basically anywhere you go, hopefully some of those Starlink satellites will be there, and especially for like text messaging and stuff like that, or especially in emergency situations. I'm sure that's not very often, and you could you could save lives there by allowing communication paths to get open. So, all right, next on my list is N3DQD. Ray, how was your week?
W2FGH and the net from N3DQD. Well, good evening to you, Frank, and the rest of the gang in here this evening. I had not heard of the rapid phones until this evening, so it's all news to me. although there are apps like the Walkie Talkie app for cell phone and a couple others that were mentioned that do a similar thing. And again, echoing the other comments, I had a Nextel back in the day, and you could set up groups and things on that, which was useful. But I think, as Ed said, the business application would probably be the one that would sell the devices, in my way of thinking. So that's all we have. By the way, we're using Anna's radio this evening, and it seems to have better audio. If someone would comment on the received audio to give me an indication one way or the other, I would appreciate it. This is N3D.
Hey, thanks, there, Ray. And yeah, I mean, it sounds fine to me. You might be a little hot on the mic, but honestly, a lot of people on DMR are a little. I think like they, I think almost the default for DMR is I think they usually have like a set of like level 3. I know mine. I set down to like level 1, and people say they hear me fine. And if I bump it up to 2, even they say I'm coming in too hot. But no, you're sounding fine there. I know from before you kind of had a lower like background noise, I guess. I'm not really sure how to describe it. But there was kind of like a baseline sound coming. But I in your last transmission, I wasn't hearing that at all. So. All right, and I think Anna might have meant to say that she was in and out, but I'm going to give her a chance to give some comments anyways. I know she's a newer ham, and she might need to get over that mic fright a little bit. So, and KD3AJN, Anna, how was your week?
Hello, Frank in the net from KD3AJN. My week is good. I was busy helping with the grandchildren, but I'm back home now and just resting up. I get really exhausted when I'm out there with grandkids. They tire me out. So, everybody have a good week and take care. KD3AJN.
Hey, very good there, Anna. And I hear you on being exhausted. I actually have a 2.5-year-old little girl myself, and yeah, sometimes she wears me out. So I definitely hear you on that. All right, this is W2FDH with the STNY Digital Voicemail. I have reached the end of my list, so let's see if there's any additional stations out there that would like to check in this evening. Please call now. All right, nothing heard there, so let's open it up for any additional stations or any stations that have checked in with additional comments, questions, or concerns. Please call now.
Here is N2 QSD.
N2 QFD, Mel, fire away with your comments, sir.
Thanks, Frank. I think it might have been Ed or Ray that said something about keeping communications in the middle of the ocean and Starlink, and I couldn't help but laugh a little. Working for years in the field as a land surveyor along the pipeline projects in northern Pennsylvania, I suppose we might as well have been in the middle of the ocean. It became routine for us to carry our own localized repeater networks for our GPS equipment and even cellular bridges to reach back out enough to get into some kind of cellular network, particularly around Sullivan County, Pennsylvania. The topography was a lot of it, so much up and down there, but we were in pretty radio quiet areas, and having the ability to have 30-watt repeaters with us, boy, did that make the equipment work so much better. So I guess there's still those spots, and sure is a nice thing we got the technology. 7-3, we'll turn it back to the net. N2QFD.
Hey, very good there, Mel. And yeah, also in my comments there, I was driving down through the PA down the Poconos, and yeah, a lot of a lot of dead zones. Or at least driving on the country roads, and and yeah, that's also one of the driving factors. I never before thought about Sirius XM, but as I drive more of these country roads, it's like, well, I could bounce between different radio stations, or I could have something on my cell phone. But it's just nice. And nice to listen to news or sports or something like that. Just something different to have, and coming in from satellite. So most of the time, unless there's a big mountain on my side, I know that there's one spot around here that there's a large hill on my right side, and it cuts out. But other than that, it's pretty solid. So all right. Again, I've reached into my list. So any additional stations or any stations that have checked in with additional comments, questions, or concerns, please call now. All right, with nothing heard, we might as well wrap things up here. I'd like to thank Dennis, Ed F, Mal, Carlton, Jeff, Cliff, Nick, Ed K, Ray, and Anna for joining me this evening. We'll be returning this talk group back to normal amateur radio use. Everybody have a great and safe week there. This is W2FJH, and I'll be listening.